with me, now with me. No distance between us anymore. Now what I've done, but what you did, the cross has brought us together forever.
But yeah.
Okay. These waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they roll over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone. And these waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they wash over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone. Well, life is like a shoreline, like a rocky coastline, and we are like those rolling stones. Sometimes we lie with our backs to the starry sky, but sometimes we're rolling in a hurricane. And these waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they roll over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone. And these waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they wash over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone. Well, in Him I will stand, and in Him I won't fall. I'll be here through the gale, through the roar of the storm, and I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, 'cause He's making me a smooth stone. And these waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they roll over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone. And these waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they wash over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone. And I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid of the storm. No, I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, 'cause He's making me a smooth stone. And these waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they roll over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone. And these waves are crashing on me, pushing me on as they wash over me, making me what I'm destined to be, a smooth stone, a smooth stone. broken as a smooth, smooth stone.
Thank you guys for coming back to part number 2 of my interview with Arlene Marchand. And so, Arlene, could you kind of speak into, because you've been somebody who, when opportunity knocked, you answered the door, and I'm sure there was some sort of apprehension inside of you to think, oh boy, this is new, and I'm not telling you it was scary because, like I say, personalities like Arlene's don't necessarily look at the fear factor in an opportunity, but some people do. And you're on the edge still of making it, boy, I'd love to try this out. What do you say to those folks who are, I don't know, just a little bit scared of something like this? They want it. They want to try it. How do you ease their fears? And what do you say to them to give it a try? How do they do that?
Well, goodness, I've been there too. I've had lots of fears, and maybe I should address that first, because the very first huge success I had in business closed its doors because it's always part of another company, an independent representative, unexpectedly, and then of course you want to jump into something right away again, and I've been involved in a few different businesses, and some work and some don't work, and maybe part of that's my fault. We have to take our own responsibility too. But eventually you get to a place where you're afraid to do anything else. And that happened to me just a little over a year ago.
Okay.
And one of the acronyms I think about when I think about the word fear is false evidence appearing real. And a lot of you have heard that before, but it's probably the truth about fear. And for myself, and maybe just sharing my story will help others, is that I realized about a little over a year ago, when I felt like I was just done with that industry and I would go back and get a regular 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And I actually had applied, and I had gotten this really amazing job.
Yeah.
And then the world shut down
Yeah.
a week later.
Wow.
Didn't even get to work one day. And then I thought, well, I'll get another job, because
Yeah.
I decided to kind of walk away from the network marketing businesses and direct sales for a while. And then that company closed.
Whoa.
And believe it or not, I got another job.
Yeah.
And I got hired, and I even submitted all my payroll stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went in my bedroom and I said, God, if you don't want me to have this kind of job, if you want me to stay in the business world, then you're going to have to close this door. And I kind of said it, looking up the ceiling in my bedroom, kind of chuckling like, I've already got the job.
Yeah.
Right? And I was waiting a whole week to get my schedule to go to work for this job.
Yeah.
And like a 9-to-5 kind of job, but with the difference in shifts.
Sure.
And I didn't get the call. And so I called the lady who interviewed me. It was through a temp agency.
Yeah.
And asked her what was going on. And she called me back and she's like, Arlene, you're not going to believe this. I've been working here for 20 years. She said, but the job that you applied for, that we hired you for, no longer needs you.
Whoa.
And I literally burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's so funny? And I told her about my prayer to God.
Yeah.
And so I knew at that time that God must have other opportunities and doors he wanted to open for me for many reasons, which I know now and I won't get into today. And so very shortly after that, another opportunity opened with a Christian-based company, actually, out of the USA. And I remember getting the call, because I've been in this industry for a long time. People are always calling and trying to get you to come work with them, right? And I remember getting a call, and instantly the answer was, no, not doing it, right?
Yeah.
And the person that I talked to wrote me and said, don't let your fears and all the things of your past hold you back from what God has for your future.
Amen.
It ticked me off,
Yeah.
because I was like, ugh. And I went to my cottage for a few days to really pray and think about it, and decided, obviously, with lots of prayer and for me, prayer and fasting, that God wasn't done with me in the business world for many reasons. And during that time, that quiet time of not doing anything for a while, I started a Facebook page called Be Encouraged with Arlene. And that's not a business, it's just a page where I randomly do encouragement posts. And obviously in the last year, the timing of that was perfect. And I keep it faith-based, really calling on God to be the encourager to us. And but I did get back into the business industry over the last year. And what I would say to people who are fearful, whether it's their first time, second time, or 15th time, trying a business, is that if God has brought you there, He has a reason, and it may be a reason for a season.
Okay.
And that's one thing I've learned in business, that just because you're in this industry and you start a business doesn't mean you're going to be there for the rest of your life. Because God is the God who opens and closes doors. And sometimes the reasons and seasons are for a particular person or a group of people, or for you to meet someone that's going to take you into your next season.
Okay.
And that's really important too. But I would just say fear is false evidence appearing real. And when you seek God, He is going to direct you. And I once heard Joyce Meyer say, if you just make a decision. If you make a decision and it's a wrong one, you'll lose your peace really quickly, or God will have you removed very quickly. But do something.
Yeah.
Don't sit in fear.
Right. And that's just what it does. It immobilizes you. And people who say they struggle making decisions, really, they're just saying they struggle with fear. Okay, so, well, what are the risks that you have seen, Arlene, over the years that you would warn folks about, that would just be good advice to somebody going into this type of, because every industry has risks. What would you say to somebody who was going into it for the first time, other than the encouragements that you've given so far here today, of not allowing fear to lead you, but as someone who's got a good number of years of experience in this type of business and industry, which is, we call it MLM. I don't know if it's professionally called that. Is it? Is that just what you guys?
Not anymore. They more talk direct sales or
Direct
network
sales.
marketing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what would be the advice you would give that would be just wisdom, so that somebody doesn't, what they call, crash and burn when they don't have to? So what's your advice on that level?
Another term, by the way, is relationship marketing. That's
Relationship
the new term.
marketing.
That's,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
it's
new to me,
interesting 'cause
for
we
sure.
talk about relationships.
Yeah.
So, again, that's an area I could probably talk about for a long time.
Sure.
But a few things that come to my mind when it comes to crashing and burning or making the right choice. I think if I were speaking to anyone, a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, any person from any culture around the world, because a lot of these businesses are international businesses. One of the ones I'm currently involved in is international. Another one is just 3 countries and expanding. Is first of all, you have to decide your why. Why? Why do you want to do this? You need to know why. Is it for financial reasons? Is it to build relationships? Is it to get out of the house? Is it to stay home? Right? Is it for extra money? Is it to replace all of your income?
Right.
You got to know your why.
Okay.
And then once you know your why, you got to know your commitment.
Right.
You got to know, am I committing to this 5 hours a week?
Yeah.
Or 45 hours a week?
Right.
And then you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a plan in that time commitment. And your why and your plan got to match. If you say, I want to work 5 hours a week and I want to replace my $100,000 income, it ain't going to work.
Darn it.
So it's got to
I'm
be
going to
realistic.
scratch that one off the list.
It's got to be realistic.
Right.
It's got to work within your family, if you're not single, within your family time schedule.
Yeah.
And you also need to find yourself, and this is probably key, a really good mentor. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the person that you join the business with. It could be someone above them, someone to the side, someone in another industry who's going to show you how much time and for money you're going to exchange, right?
Okay.
And I will tell you, with any of these businesses, when you first start, especially at the beginning, it's
Yeah.
going to be a bit more work
Right.
than if you've been in it for a long time.
Well, that's a good kind
You
of
know,
metric.
And
Your
and
time
you've-
for money exchange.
Time for money. You've got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to, unless God leads you somewhere else, you're in it for a long haul. Like I had one of my businesses that was a very long time. And again, I probably would never have left to this day. But that door closed. And I know, looking back, that God allowed that. He probably didn't cause that because it wasn't his decision.
Right.
But he allowed it. It affected thousands of women. For me personally, to move forward into other things that he's called me in, other markets and other products.
Yeah.
But you definitely, you need to have that mentorship. You need to to be involved. If I sign up for something and never show up, it's not going to work.
No, right.
And the other thing too that I have found, and even in this last year, one of the things I've done is I get up, I show up, and I dress up.
Okay.
So every morning, pretty much without fail, I never knew sometimes when you're in just businesses how many hours a day you're going to work. Sometimes it's more than others if there's sales on or there's a marketing promotion coming out. But I always got up every morning and got dressed and did my makeup and was prepared to go out the door even if I couldn't go anywhere some days.
Yeah, and that's not, we look at, as Christians, we look at things on spiritual levels a lot. But these levels are just as important too, aren't they? And the word I hear a lot that Arlene's used over this week and last week is the word plan. And I'm going to guess, Arlene, plans and planning is a big part of your life. And that no matter who gets involved in this industry, they're going to have to learn a lot about that word, I'm guessing. Plans and schedules and stuff like that. That must be a major part of your life, scheduling in things.
Yes.
So, okay, what would you recommend to the folks who are watching this today as something they might want to read? And maybe it's not necessarily a spiritual book. Are there any favorite books that would be something you would say, hey, you guys might want to check this out that could help you with your attitude or help you getting ready to do something like what you're doing? Is there anything in particular?
There are a lot of good books out there.
Okay.
I think one of the books that helped me the most, and I have to put in a little place.
Please, go
I've
ahead.
never been the best reader. For 15 years, I admit I didn't read any books.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when and how that changed because it applies to this interview today.
Sure.
But Strength Finders.
Strength
Finders. There's a book, and then there's a workbook that comes with it. You can go online and do a test. And it really is the best test I ever did to help me hone in on my personal strengths.
Wow.
And when you know what your personal strengths are, you're going to find a better match for you in the business world.
Okay.
And that can be important because you can try a lot of things. Like I have tried a number of businesses that just weren't for me, but I didn't know until I tried.
Right.
But I didn't let fear stop me from trying.
Okay.
Right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
And, the big thing and that really has changed for me from the Christian side. So I was in business from the business side.
Yeah.
But then when you bring Christ into it, what changed for me is in 2016, after the first large company I was with closed, I decided to get involved and did a 3-year, it's based out of the U.S. at a Charlotte, North Carolina program called the Master's Program for Women. And it's really specifically for women in leadership positions or business. And there's a men's side to it as well.
Yeah.
And I did that correspondence and with a mentor here in the city for 3 years.
Ooh, wow.
And graduated in 2019.
Wow.
But from that, I had to read about 3 books every quarter.
Okay.
And lots of books about motivational, and then Christian books like, I can't even remember the name of it. I want to say Great Expectations, but that wasn't it.
No.
But about God, it was a book about God and expectations in the business world as well.
Okay.
But there was lots of like Tony Robbins books and all of those kind of good books.
Right.
And all of those books are great. And like
Yeah.
I said, Strength Finders was the best one for me personally.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
I found this little book, and I can't even tell you the name of it because I
Yeah.
don't remember good things like that, but it was called 31 Days in Your Business, and it was business prayers.
Oh, okay.
And, people can probably look it up, but it was 31 days of business prayers, and it was very short. You could do each day in 3 minutes,
Okay.
and you would write things out. And that kind of personalized it for me, and there was a scripture associated with every day.
Wow, okay.
And a lot of people don't realize that there is much in the Bible about business
Okay.
and how to do business.
Yes.
Every kind of business.
Yeah.
And it might seem kind of cliche,
Yeah.
but the Bible is the best book. It's amazing because if you look at Jesus' relationship with the disciples, most of them were in business.
Yes.
For themselves, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah,
right?
true, yeah.
And, when God called them, we don't see it all through the Bible, but they still had to earn a living.
Right.
They still worked.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were self-employed, if not all of them.
Yeah.
So the Bible does share a lot, and it
Yeah.
gives us a lot of direction. Again, there's a lot out there, but
Yeah. Okay, here's sort of I like to sort of ask Arlene just the impact on her life, on her faith, that happens when you go through either one, failures in this industry or successes. How does that impact you, and what have you noticed in those ways, Arlene, over the years you've been doing this, please?
Well, sometimes I notice when there's a failure, I feel like a failure. And it's not always me.
Right.
You know, sometimes maybe I could have tried harder or worked harder, but maybe it wasn't my jive. It wasn't the thing for me. And what I've learned from that is sometimes the failures are not failures. They're just a stepping stone to the next success. You know, God puts different people in our path, and sometimes we can only meet them. I think of a business I was involved in a while ago, and I met this wonderful lady. And I would never have met her if it wasn't for that business. And now we're such great friends, and we talk all the time, and we're looking at business opportunities together all the time. So, you know, I just believe God allows some of those things to happen and also to keep us humble.
Right.
Right? And when it comes to some of the successes, you know, one of the things that I have learned in business that I feel and believe, not just feel, but believe and know that God gives us the most successes is when we put him first. I remember going through a time where I actually did a 60-day period in one of my businesses where I got up every morning and I spent 2 hours in my office with the Lord instead of my business. I just did like this trial thing. And I remember after 60 days, or almost before it ended, the manager of that company coming to me and like, what are you doing? And it was in summer months. They're like, everyone else's business is down and you have double-digit increase.
Wow.
And I said, well, I started working 2 less hours a day on my business, and I started spending more time with the Lord. And she was like, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, you know, and because it's working for all of us. And it was interesting. And I wish I could say that I kept doing that for the rest of my life, but I didn't. But what I have done, especially in this last year, is I make sure that at the beginning of every day before I start any business, I spend time with God one-on-one first.
Yeah, amen.
And that, you know, doesn't mean instant success. I still got to work. I still got to plan. I still got to organize my stuff. I still got to listen for the open and closed doors. And here's one other thing. There may be a door that opens for you, and then because of someone else's decision or ownership of a business, that door may close, but nothing you did was wrong. So you can't blame yourself. And sometimes other people who aren't serving God will make decisions that impact us, but that doesn't mean we need to give up. It just means that we have to look for the next open door.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I used to beat myself up over things like that. And I realized that through that small window, God allowed me to have strategic relationships and friendships that help me in my next path. You know, right now in my life, I could pick up the phone and call many, many people from all over North America that if I was in a great need would help me because I met them in a business and I maintained relationships and friendships and respect even if I wasn't still there.
So you're finding the positive where sometimes there just seems to be negative. You're digging the positive out of it.
Yes,
and taking it with
100%.
you. That
Yeah.
is awesome.
And I think that
advice.
attitude,
Yeah.
even though there might be hurts, there might be failures, there might be whatever, I think the attitude is just pick up the suitcase and keep on going, right?
Yeah.
And give it another try and not let fear.
Yeah.
I experience fear like everyone else.
Yeah.
I might not be very vocal about it,
Yeah.
but I've certainly experienced it. Like I said, I was ready to walk away and give up. I actually had walked away for a few months
Yeah.
and was really going to try something else, but that is not what God had for me. He had a different plan and a purpose, and he's still working that out. I don't even know some days what it looks like, but I still get up and dress up and show up.
There you go.
And, you know, that's my key thing is get up, show up, dress up, whatever way you want to put it in every single day
Yeah.
and be prepared.
Yeah.
And it was just the other day, actually.
Yeah.
My son's like, where you're going? I'm like, he goes, you look like you're going on a cruise or something. And I'm like, no, I'm just prepared in case I need to see someone.
There you go. Keyword up.
Right.
You know, you're up. That is awesome. You know, there's that old Kenny Rogers song, and you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them.
When to walk away and when to run.
Now, I've never played poker in my life, folks. And wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to do with a card game. My folks wouldn't let me within 10 feet of a pack of cards, and that's just their their influence on our life and something they believed in. So, I don't. When do you fold them? When do you call it quits with something and know that it's done in your life? Go ahead. Please give us some stories.
Wow.
Got any stories? I betcha.
Well, you know what? There's been a few times that I've started stuff and quit because I
Okay.
wanted to do something. I just always wanted to be
Yeah.
busy,
Yeah.
right? And also contributing.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah.
I have to say that. So sometimes I've jumped into things without doing some real research.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've jumped into things because I wanted to do something and it was the only thing available.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've jumped into things because I really like the people.
Okay.
There's many reasons you jump in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
For me personally, when you lose your peace.
Okay.
When you lose your peace
Yeah.
and the peace isn't there
Yeah.
to continue forward.
Yeah.
Because God knows things we don't know.
Right.
I really think that's the number one answer. If you don't have peace where you are,
Yeah.
no matter what the business is, no matter what you're doing, no matter how great the people are, no matter how great the products are,
Yeah.
if you lose your peace, it's time to
Yeah.
move away.
So you're really encouraging people that if they're going to make a relationship, in the networking, marketing sort of industry, they should be led by peace first off, getting into it, because it's a lot of work, and you're really encouraging people to really believe in it before they attach themselves to it, sort of thing. Anything spectacular you've learned recently concerning the industry you're in that you want to share? You can share right now.
Well, I do think that we are in a time, for many reasons, where people are reevaluating all of their life.
Okay.
They're certainly reevaluating jobs, reevaluating businesses, reevaluating finances. Where we can see the price of goods going up.
Oh, yeah.
Some people need more money. Some people just need a change of environment, whatever it is. And I will tell you, when it comes to self-employment business of any sort, it doesn't even have to be in the network or direct sales industry. There's lots of great ways to be self-employed out there. I think that now is the time where these businesses are growing. There's a lot of new things on the market, so you got to do your research. I encourage researching ownership, finding out who those people are, where they've been in business before, have they had multiple failures and bankruptcies. Like, you want to really do some research that way.
Sure.
But I think more than ever before, if people want to do something more from home, technology has changed so much. I mean, I'm on Zoom calls 3 and 4 times every week with groups of people. And
Yes.
I prefer to be in person.
Yeah.
But when you're working with people all over the world, that's not really going to happen on a regular basis.
Yes.
And we do still have, obviously, a number of restrictions in place in many provinces and countries. So it's a great opportunity to take the industry for a test run.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
But again, with all the other things I said, keeping in
Yeah.
mind, right?
Yeah.
And finding right fits.
Okay.
And right fits for you and for your family and for your time.
Yeah.
But I also think it's a great opportunity if people need to switch, or what they call pivot is the word in 2021, and do something different. It's a great opportunity to do it while you're doing something else. You can start small, a few hours a week, and work your way up. You can start a lot and work your way down, whatever works for you.
Okay.
But I think the opportunities are there. I know, speaking for myself, I'm in 2 brand new
And I'm going to ask Arlene
opportunities.
to really explain to us what opportunities she's into, because we want to thank her so much for even coming here today to even share this. And part of that is I'd like her to tell us about these opportunities. And we're also going to put all of her information. My son will put it there'll be a link in the description box below. And Arlene's different email contact, probably her Google contact information. And what is the main one, Arlene, you're using now? You mentioned, is it just your name that you mentioned for Google?
Gmail, you mean?
Or is it Gmail? Sorry. Okay, what is it?
Arlene Marchand at gmail.com.
Okay.
That's my email.
Okay, so that'll be below as well. Max will gather all of her information if you want to get in touch with her, or if you want to just visit her site. And now, Arlene, what is it that you're into now?
Recently, I like I said earlier, I get calls about a lot of different new opportunities. So most recently, I've become involved in a couple of different companies, but I have other companies that, like, there's one product here or one product
Sure.
there that I absolutely love and
Okay.
share with people. So I tell people I have two passions in life.
Yeah.
The party thing,
Yeah.
that goes with the sparkle and the bling.
Right
So
on,
I'm
right on.
sparkling. I've got some new jewelry on this morning, and
Yeah.
beautiful
Very
for
nice.
Christians, like the cross bracelet I wear here. And
Yeah.
so I am involved in jewelry.
Yeah.
On an international basis, we're in
Yeah.
45 different countries. Brand new opportunity.
Yeah.
With great products, fine jewelry,
Yeah.
good quality.
Yeah.
So I do have a great web page for that.
Okay.
And people can be customers or be involved in the business.
Yeah.
And then I'm also, my other passion is health.
Yes.
Health and wellness, and that's really important to me because of my own experience with my own health over the years and being an overcomer in many areas. So I do have a number of products that I help with and recommend. And most recently, I've become involved with a company called Skinny Joe. And anyway, I you'll get that information when you go to my website.
Yeah.
But I really am helping people struggle with all the weight gain that's
Right.
happened over the last
Yes,
year. And
definitely.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
did a post on my personal Facebook page the other day that
Yeah.
said, anybody else try on their summer clothes and wonder how they all shrunk in the closet. So, it's just that thing that happened to a lot
Sure,
of people, although I've
sure.
had some friends that are down 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's something that I have never really struggled with a lot my whole life until
Yeah.
I turned the big 50.
Right on.
And so I do help people with their health in a healthy way.
Yeah.
With kind of helping maintain weight or weight loss, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
as well as keeping a healthy body. So there are a number of products that I sell, and then there's another products that I recommend.
Okay.
It's not my industry, but I know the scientists and I know the doctors that have made some of these amazing products.
Okay.
So those are my two passions: jewelry,
Yeah.
which I'm really involved in, and health and wellness, which I'm really involved in.
Okay.
And again, once people go to my webpage, they'll be able to see both of that available to take a
Okay.
look at, or
So-
reach out to me by email.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the email you already heard, that's going to be down, and the web page is still a little under construction.
Yeah, it'll be ArleneMarchand.com.
Okay, ArleneMarchand.com. Arlene, thank you so much for coming on the show. Who knows? This could just be the start of some things Arlene might be willing to share with us over time. And we just want to thank her for sharing some things that probably she learned through a lot of hard knocks. And thank you guys so much for joining us. Please write Arlene. Who knows? This could be a perfect fit. God might be setting something up so that in your situation you might be able to make some money. And I don't think anyone would be happier to see someone else succeed than Arlene Marchand. She'd be very happy to see you succeed. And that's what she is. She's known for being positive and for being really excited about good things happening in other people's lives. So you guys have a great week, and we'll see you again next week with somebody new. So God bless you. Have a great week.